Before we begin, I would just like to remind you guys to please like and subscribe. Also, comment down below. I really want to hear what you think. I really want to start a discussion with my videos, so I appreciate every single comment I get. And if you want to do something really extra nice, you can also share this video with people who might be interested in this topic. There will be new videos every Monday, so stay tuned for those. So what are we doing exactly in this video? We will be analyzing the new trailer for Pokemon Legends Arceus that we just got this week, and also a few good screenshots. And we are going to be looking at the game from the perspective of, will the open world be good, and will it be what people are expecting? There are loads of cool discoveries I have made, so I highly encourage you watch this whole video. But before we get into the actual trailer, we should talk a bit about what makes a good open world game. Open world games are not just about having lots of stuff to do. Every open world game kind of handles their world differently. The world can be there as kind of a sandbox, as it is in games like Just Cause or GTA, where you can just do a bunch of fun stuff. It can also provide a huge battlefield for the player, kind of like in Monster Hunter games. And in Breath of the Wild, which Pokemon Legends Arceus is very often compared to, the open world is there to give the player a sense of adventure in discovery. And of course, all of the mechanics and all of the things you can do in the open world, whether it is a game mechanic or a collectible, it has to tie together with each other and be of value for the player. So player wants to be rewarded in some way for doing certain things and collecting certain items. They have to be useful for the player. Player has to understand their value. So what exactly is Pokemon Legends Arceus going for? And there's been a lot of talk about it being the Breath of the Wild moment for Pokemon. I do not think this is the case. If you are looking for a Breath of the Wild equivalent but with just Pokemon, you will be very disappointed by this game. I think this is not inspired by that Zelda game. It is actually more inspired by another really popular Japanese franchise. Which one is it? I will get back into that at a later point in this video. Now, let's talk a bit about the story structure as well, because we know that the story is centered around you going to the Hisui region for the first time and being tasked to complete that Pokédex. There's a lot of research tasks you have to do in the game, and I think that is how the story will be structured. It's not just you go around the region and defeat gym leaders. No. It is you being given missions, and after that you will be given more missions. Okay, now let's start with the trailer. Here's the Switch logo, and here's the first piece of text that we have. The first thing we see, and this is a tale of a long ago when the lives of humans and Pokemon were still separate, and that is to establish kind of the story and the setting of this game. So it takes place in ancient history where Pokemon are not used to people yet, so that's why they can attack you and that kind of stuff. They are really wild, they are really dangerous. They're not domesticated like they are in modern games. So that is kind of to establish the setting of the story and how the word will work. And we will see more of this when we go further on into the trailer. And here we just see the first shot of this trailer. It's just a grassy field with Pokemon just wandering around. There are Starlies, there are Bidoofs. Interesting to also note that you can see here, they are just wandering around. There is no wild grass to be seen anywhere. Wild grass has been a staple of the Pokemon franchise, as a place where Pokemon appear. This is just normal looking grassy field with Pokemon in it. And there are certain points in the trailer where you can see tall grass, but that is mainly for sneaking around and kind of being invisible to the Pokemon, so you can sneak around them and capture them easier, but they are not for encountering Pokemon. So that is clearly something different in this world already. And what you can see clearly is also the style here. They are going for the ukiyo-e style. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Let me just show you a few examples of that style. Ukiyo-e is a traditional way of Japanese paintings, and here you can see like this mountain shot that is very similar to the art style of Pokemon Legends Arceus, and it is also a style used in Okami HD, so that is very interesting. You can see here's a good shot of Okami HD on the Nintendo Switch, and it's clearly going for a similar style, but Pokemon is in the direction of going with the usual art style kind of mixed with this ukiyo-e style or the woodblock style Japanese painting. So that is my first notices on this, and I think that style is very well done in like the trees and the sky, but there are certain areas where it doesn't work that well, and I will get back into that when we are in that moment. So yeah, we see a Pokemon just moving around here. Another area, you can see the Mount Coronet in the background. Reminds me a lot of Breath of the Wild, where you could see the Hyrule Castle basically from everywhere in that map, and that was really cool. And the Mount Coronet, of course, in this game being the final location, I think, and just being like a very central location to the story and the whole region. So it's cool that you can see it from everywhere. But otherwise, when this opens up a bit more, it does look a bit empty. It's not filled with objects of interest, kind of like in Breath of the Wild, so I do not think exploration will be that big of a deal in this game. So yeah, people were complaining about it being empty. That is kind of usual to cold environments in my opinion, but it still could have more stuff going on in there. There's no places for Pokemon to hide really, and yeah. And in this shot we see Weasel and Floatzel, and in the background there's a really good object of interest looking like these two really sharp rocks. Personally, it is reminding me of Pinsir, and here you can also see one of the things I'm not so interested in this game is the rocks. I think Pokemon usually does rocks pretty badly, and this just is, it's a bit too dark and it pops out a bit too much compared to the rest of the environment, so it's not really great. And also the rocks over here just reminds me of the Easter Island heads, but it just could be like looking a bit weird from long distance in the background, so it's probably not that, but it just reminded me of that. And here you can see just Ponytail and Rapidash, and the Ponytail actually turns here, so you can see turning animations are in this game, so they don't move as awkwardly as they do in Sword and Shield. So hey, Game Freak actually does listen to complaints sometimes of what they can do. And here you can also see that tall grass here, but I don't think it's for encountering Pokemon, it's just for sneaking around, kind of like in Breath of the Wild or Horizon Zero Dawn, these open world games that also use like sneaking around mechanics. And here is our first town, which is very near Mount Coronet, and it's looking pretty good. It's looking like feudal Japan, very fitting for the age. I think it's a bit more modern maybe than feudal Japan, because you have all of these like pipes going, smoke coming from the pipes. So we could have like a bit more technology than feudal Japan actually has. So it's a bit modern than a historically accurate version of a feudal Japan. But the town seems to be looking pretty good. filled with people, lots of buildings. I wonder what is everywhere. And you can see here inside the building, the research facility, you meet the characters, meet the starters. And here's the Breath of the Wild shot. So a close-up on the character and then quickly zooming out to show the open world. And here you can pretty much see that it is very empty. And there is another really important detail here. Look at these mountains in the background. Look at these mountains in the background. I think that this game will not be fully open world, so the world is not fully connected. In Breath of the Wild, if you saw a location, you could easily go there, but I do not think you can go over these mountains. I think there will be multiple big open areas that will be sectioned off, and I will go over that more in a couple of screenshots I have. That is just something to keep in mind of. Okay, let's continue. But yeah, looks a bit empty. A few good objects of interest, like what is in that cliff. A few more trees, but not to say it's a forest. A desert area or the swamp area maybe. And here you can just see like how do you catch those Pokemon. And here's the UI. You can see I think a Pokedex thing, your items, and maybe like the main menu or something like that. Also, just something to note in this point when we are looking at the UI is that I noticed that in no part of this trailer or in any of the screenshots that I saw, we do not see a minimap. And that is something very, well, a bit concerning for exploration. So exploration probably will not be a big deal, because most games that are focusing on exploration and going around this huge area, they do have a minimap, but for some reason there just isn't one in this game. We didn't have one in Sword and Shield, but still it's an odd thing to be missing. Here, Mount Corin again in the background, but here rocks are looking a bit weird. The lake is not really looking that good, so does the beach, stands out a bit too much. But yeah, here is a rest stop and replacing Pokemon centers, because of course we don't have the technology for Pokemon centers during this time period. So you just have, well, a rest stop, and I hope that these are something you either start your mission in, kind of like in Monster Hunter, or these are something you can find in the environment. And here you can see there's a bonfire. You can also use it for cooking, I think. So maybe you can do something like you could make curries in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Here you can also see a storage box and a crafting table, and of course a bed you can rest in. I wonder what this guy's doing here. I do not know yet. And here's the professor giving you like missions and information about the missions, I think. Here is a really cool object of interest covered by cliffs, so it will not be easy to find. I wonder what will happen in these ruins. I do not know yet, but it seems to be very interesting. And here is another set of very much smaller ruins that you can also find. These are in a clearly a different location, so there would be loads of ruins in this place. So people have been to this region before. We are not the first ones. Very interesting. Okay, and here you can see like the snowy area, and it's not looking that great. It looks very empty, because you can't even have like many trees in here because it's like covered in snow maybe. And he's just looking like white snow, and of course, as always, Mount Coronet in the background. But when it continues from here, it's something very interesting. You dive off and you fly with a braviary. And what is interesting about this is, of course, a very fun way of traversing the world. Traversal is very interesting and very useful for any open world game. So the traversal should be fun, encouraging exploration. exploration and just making it much more fun to go around the region. But what is interesting here, that like in many Breath of the Wild games or Breath of the Wild like games, say Breath of the Wild for example, and then of course like Genshin Impact, you have a glider, but here you can actually fly around more freely. It showed at the beginning, it showed you like the bravery going up a bit. I think you will mainly stay at the same height and then you can dive down, but you can't really go up and just go anywhere you want. You can only stay at the same level, yeah, and then you can dive down whenever you want to. But you can't go as high as you want. That is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, here you can see loads of cool regions, and here is Basque region, and another cool object of interest. What is that rock in that island in the middle? And that got me thinking, again, magic or anything in the background, and that got me thinking like you don't get all of these cool little things when you first open the game up. And when you first start playing, kind of like you did in Breath of the Wild, you got all of the cool knickknacks at the very beginning of the game, and then you could just go wild in that world. I think these are progress based, so in a specific point of the story, you will unlock these. After completing a certain research mission, you can get these, and then you unlock more missions, and then you can explore a bit more around the world wherever there is to explore further. So yeah, you can jump down waterfalls, you can jump with it anyways. And here's Werdir just running around, and here in the screenshot the lighting is looking a bit off. I think what's bothering me about it is that the light is reflecting more on the characters than it is on the environment, so it looks a bit odd to me. Hope they can fix it, and they do have months to fix it, so it's not that big of a problem in my opinion. And here's like the story section. You can see Bibarel and Bidoof lights coming. Reminds me of an Ultra Beast, probably not, just lightning strikes. Could be a brand new Pokemon. And here you can see Pokemon not being happy of that lightning strike, and they getting red eyes and probably gonna attack you. And that is something very new to this game. Pokemon are dangerous creatures. They can attack you for the first time. Not just your Pokemon, they attack you. That is something very cool. Makes it feel more like Monster Hunter, as I said, and more like you actually have to survive in this wilderness, which is very cool. Here showing the new battle system. Not much to say about the word here, but it's interesting to know that this battle system is very fit for this game, but don't expect it to be a mainstay in the mainline Pokemon series, because this kind of battle system is good for battling against wild Pokemon, but it's not so good against like other people or trainers or PvP. So expect it to be a spin-off only thing. You can use Pokemon to gather resources, which is very interesting, very cool. Something to do in the open world. And here you can see Braviary diving. Here you can see Basque Legion jumping around. The background is looking a bit boring, very boring. But there are certain areas that you can only access probably after you teach your Basque Legion to do that jumping move. And you can do the same with Werdir. You can see Golduck attacking you in the background, but you moving away quickly, so it's not a thing you have to deal with really. And here's more battling. Garchomp attack. I would be scared of a Garchomp attacking me, but let's back up a bit actually. Here you can see Probopass, but you can also see like a cave in the background, so maybe you can actually go through all of those mountains we saw, and those would just be load areas for the next huge open area. But I still do think that the areas will be more sectioned off. Maybe there's just some cool treasure that you can find here. All these Pokemon showing around. Oh, and yeah. Also, you can see like 3 Pokemon at the same 3 lines of Pokemon. The first time we have seen 3 lines of Pokemon. Here you can see Onyx. There's Toxicroak, Grogunk, Stunky, and Skunky, and yeah. It was a bit bothering for me that you can only see like 1 line of Pokemon or 2 lines of Pokemon at the same time. In this trailer so far, it was a bit concerning to me, but now you can see here that there can exist like multiple Pokemon lines at the same time. So there's 3. I hope they would be like mixing them up a bit more, but it's nothing to really get too concerned about. And yeah, here's another cool shot of that tree that was just lightning blasted, something cool happening around it. And that is basically the end of the trailer, just showing a bit more of the environment, and then it starts to be animated, which is not really a part of that trailer anymore. So now let's get on to the screenshots I wanted to cover, and here is loads of more cool information. The first one, this is from the official site. Jubilife Village will serve as a base for your surveying mission. So yeah, again, these missions are kind of like how the game will be structured. After receiving an assignment or a request and preparing for your next excursion, you'll set out from the village to study one of the various areas of Hisui region. Again, confirming it will not be all a huge open area that is all connected, but it will be many smaller big open areas that you can go to. After you finish your survey work, prepare for your next task. If this sounds familiar, it is very, very much how Monster Hunter does this. You have this hub village, you accept missions there, you go to a big open area, do the mission there, and then you come back and prepare for your next task. That is exactly how Monster Hunter works. This will not be like Breath of the Wild. This is Monster Hunter Pokemon. And then continuing, along with the headquarters of Galaxy Team and your own lodgings, or you have your own house maybe, Jubilife Village boasts a range of useful institutions and services such as trading posts where you can trade Pokemon with other players. And I think the other screenshots here is the trading post probably. Now, this is the Hisui region map that I found. Here you can see the first, I think the first big region you will go to, so the Obsidian Field Lands. I found this screenshot from Reddit. I have not seen it in official sites, but I believe it's real anyways. And here you can see loads of closed off areas that have not been unlocked that are covered by clouds. You can see a snowy region, the swamp area, the beach area, and this little part here that I think will be a island, which we will be seeing soon. Here's the Pokédex screen, preferred foods, so you can gather resources from the open world. Form, here's 1 out of 2, that is for gender reasons. I do not think Shinx will be getting a Hisuian form. Could also be for shiny, but I think it is gender because Shinx has a gender difference in its Pokemon. And of course here you can see in this menu the entire Hisui region Pokédex, but you can see that there will be at least 5 smaller regions here. One of these will be the Obsidian Field Lands, and the other will be the swamp area, the snow area, blah blah blah, those things. So at least 5 big areas will be in this game. I think there will be kind of like wild areas in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now this is the Hisui region map in like artwork form, and you can see like the snow area here, Snow Point Temple, interesting, you get ruins here. And in the Obsidian Fieldlands, you can see that the big tree that you saw in the trailer is there. Jubilife Village, other cool places. Here's some settlements, Mount Coronet have some routes going to the top, which is covered by clouds. Here you can see also an island which was covered by clouds, so you can go to this island, I think. And yeah, loads of cool details in here. And this is just a screenshot of one of the requests that you will have in the game, which is Wurmple evolve it. I wonder what it will evolve to. I do not know. Here's like Pokedex tasks. You can do loads of cool things by catching Pokemon, and also have you see them use certain moves. Very interesting. I wonder what kind of rewards you will get for completing these. That I do not know. But yes, that is all I have to cover for this game. I am very excited for this game. It looks like something really new for the Pokemon franchise. I like Monster Hunter as well, but if you are expecting this to be a highly explorable open world game like Breath of the Wild, you will be very, very disappointed. This will be much like Monster Hunter. But that is my analysis for this time. Did I miss anything? What do you think? Are you still excited for this game? Let me know down in the comments. And if you have anything else to say as well, do you have any recommendations? What should I talk about next week? I will answer you all of your questions, all of your comments. But I have nothing else to say for this topic. Thank you so much for watching. Check out my other videos as well, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.